All right, let's see any adjustments to our agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Indigent, there wasn't any business?
Nope.
Okay. All right, Julie?
Julie Hancock, Elections Director for Bannock County. Let me pull these out for you guys. That's lava just for you. There's 2 of those.
How did we do then? Balancing. Everything good?
Yeah, I do. I would like to say a few things. The Journal had printed that it sounded a little bit like what happened that night was Steve's fault, and it wasn't. It was a miscommunication between us and our vendor as far as security protocols go, and a new way of doing things to safeguard the count, to safeguard the vote. We have a double authentication login just to get into our voter database now. So I kind of want to set the record straight that in no way was it his fault. And I always have believed that the way you handle a situation dictates the failure or success of it. And the way we handled it that night was, I think, a success. I think we're getting a little bit beat up about how we worked it, but we were there until 3 o'clock in the morning because we did it right, not because anything went wrong. The mistake that we made in the second count of those early ballots was that 70 ballots got put on a stack of counted that weren't counted. So we were 70 ballots off. So you know what? We counted them again. And I think I told you the other day, when I looked at that staff and every single one of them looked at me in my face and said, it's 1:30 in the morning. And they were all like, we got to recount. And so we counted them a third time. And it's exhausting, but we got the same exact number on the third count as we did on the first one. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
So I just wanted to say that, you know, we handle ourselves the way we handle ourselves because we have to. Because you have to have zero error in that office. And so when things happen and it doesn't quite go right, but we stayed there and we saw it through.
So it's always been our tradition to always vote or count the early votes first.
Right.
There's other areas that they always do it last. Is there anything in state rule or statute that it's just up to us, right?
It's up to us, and we did count the early votes first, but the problem was the grouping. And so we wanted them to be grouped in early vote, not in election day. Well, we couldn't get them out of election day and into early vote. So we had to wipe the slate clean and start over. But by that time, we had a dozen precincts start checking in. And so we got to get some results up at 9. No matter what they are, we got to get them up at 9, which ended up being 9:20, I think, before we got them up there. But so we thought, wipe out the early votes, get the election day started, the precincts checking in, get through them, and then do the early votes at the end.
For those that might not understand, what's the importance of having the early votes counted separately?
Mostly for reporting purposes, mostly for candidates that want to know how many early votes were cast and in which precincts, so they know. I mean, it's kind of a campaign thing. You've crunched those numbers for years, and it's, you know, I don't think everything should be grouped all election day. I think it's important to separate those early votes out. So, and especially for our reporting purposes, because if we print a report off of our system that says we issued 8,000 ballots during early voting, we better count 8,000 ballots through those machines.
So for the transparency of knowing, hey, this was your early vote, this is where it came from, this is how it goes.
Right.
And I actually appreciate that because it does, like you said, you issued those 8,000 early votes out. You can tell, those of us that are very familiar with numbers in Bannock County, 8,000 early votes is kind of standard and customary.
Yeah.
I mean, we float between 6,000 to 9,000 on an early voting cycle, depending upon where it's at and what's going on.
And it was almost matched 4 years ago. The 8,000, we did about 8,000 4 years ago. The difference was, though, 4 years ago, we had a 64% turnout.
Yeah.
And this time, we have 54%.
Yeah, it's one of the worst voter turnouts that shows the lack of empathy and
Right.
and maybe the lack of caliber of issues of candidates of what was on the ballot.
Right.
With that being said, Mr. Chairman?
Just 1 second. One, I want to express gratitude to your office.
Thanks.
I was there election night, and I watched everybody work and do, above and beyond. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. You run a very tight ship. I have 100%, I trust everything that goes on there, 100%.
Thank
And
you.
so, and your people, they're very, very good.
I think they're the best team on the planet.
They are, and I'd stand behind you and them at any time.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The other thing is, it looked like we just signed them packets, but we didn't. The tallies and stuff are in our packet, so we looked at them ahead of time. So if somebody's watching, I just want them to know that it wasn't just,
Right.
here it is.
Right.
Yes, we have looked them over, we have evaluated them, and they are correct.
Okay, good.
I want that out there.
Thank you.
I got a chance on election day. I actually stopped in to a bunch of different precincts just to see.
Yeah?
Everything went smooth. That's kind of the fun part about where I vote is there's, 6 there, whatever the whole Torina has and the red
Yeah.
line and some of the others. So, yeah.
Good, good.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the canvassing of the vote as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Perfect. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Just the two signatures
Yeah.
you needed?
Just those ones. With that being said, I'm going to excuse myself.
All right.
I will see you guys later.
All right, thank you very much.
See you later.
Hey, Braden, you got a second?
Let's see, let's go ahead and we'll go. So we'll go ahead and go to resolutions and ordinances, which there aren't any, but there is a letters and notices of tax cancellation request. Do you have comments on this one? Okay, come on up.
Hey, I'm Anita Hines, Chief Deputy Assessor,
Oh, wait a minute. Who are you?
Wrong title.
the Assessor-elect.
There you go.
go.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Just kind of want to explain this one because it is a large amount. We anticipated this was coming because we found that we had not removed, or we hadn't adjusted a value like we should have. So we actually I got with Christie, State Tax Commission, and we actually did a negative value on the sub-roll, which made it so that it wasn't, that amount of money wasn't levied against. So it was taken care of. We were aware of it and took care of it.
So this won't require any tax cancellations, really, because, at least to the districts.
Right.
Because it was anticipated.
It won't affect anybody.
Okay.
Great. Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the tax cancellation as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have September 2022 Commissioners' Proceedings, and then an agreement for the pathology services between Bannock County and Ada County. Questions?
No, I think there was a little issue with the indemnity clause between Ada County and some of the stuff that we've been seeing that Brian has not been happy with, but this is another one where we just need to take it and go. Tori reached out to me last night, he's got autopsy he's got to take over today and wanted to have this signed, so. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the Commissioners' Proceedings and the agreement with Ada County as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then the Commissioners' Proceedings for 2022.
Oh, did I say that? Did I say the Commissioners' Proceedings?
Did we do that one? Okay. All right.
It's
All right,
It's
thank
early.
you. I've already been to the hospital.
No.
Next on our consent agenda, we have an alcohol license, salary rate approval forms, and then we also have certificate of residency. There's one denial, one approval. They switched to Ernest instead of Ernie. And then we have our minutes for November 3rd, 8th, and 10th.
All right, Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the alcohol licenses, the salary rate approval forms, the certificate of occupancy and the denial, and the minutes as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
How many of them have here?
Oh, certificate of residency, excuse me. Make a friendly amendment there.
Okay, we'll make the adjustment. Thank you. All right, we're within the time limit now. Ryan, you're up.
Okay. So Ryan Bannock, HR Director. On the agenda is a position description update for the procurement position we have. Typically, if there's a position description update that would merit a grade change, we would go through the budget cycle on that. If there's a position description update where the pay grade stays the same, usually we'll just go to the elected official and we can move through right away, right, without having to delay. And so, since you're the elected official over this position, that's why we're coming to you with it. I believe you've already had a chance to read over it. The duties have been updated. Kind of reorganized, but it did not change the pay.
Real quick, we probably need a copy of that for the record.
Do you not have one?
Yeah, it's not in our packet.
Oh, okay. And I didn't print it, so do we need to wait till?
Let's wait.
For
Let's
2
wait
more
till
days,
Thursday. Did you see the updated
I haven't
version?
seen the
I
updated.
haven't seen it.
Okay, all right, sorry.
Okay.
I assumed that you had it.
Yeah.
Okay. That can wait 2 days.
Okay.
Okay, no worries. So,
I'm gonna go put it on the website really quick and I can update the
PDA assignment.
packet.
Put that on the agenda too.
DBA assignment?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll be right back.
that could have been me. I might not have submitted that. Probably didn't.
Good.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
I just assumed you had.
Yeah, it wasn't on there electronically.
Okay. Yeah, let's just wait.
All right. Tony, you're up.
Tony Manu, Bannock County Sheriff.
Andy Iverson, Bannock County Sheriff.
So in your packet, you should have, I think we've talked about this a couple times, the animal shelter agreement. Commissioner Tubby, several months back, wanted to read some of the changes in the blue. It puts in the suggested changes from Commissioner Tubby stating that only animals that are taken to the shelter directed by the sheriff's office, that would be to the cost of Bannock County. Because I believe in the past, we were having issues of county residents just dropping off animals at the animal shelter, and then I think you guys would receive a bill for sheltering animals, so.
Well, that contradicts it. Number 8 on the second page Says Bannock County shall pay to the city of Pocatello $35 intake fee for each live animal found outside the city limits, but within Bannock County and transported to the shelter by any citizen.
Right. Well, and that's what I was gonna say. I don't think this is the final document. I tried to get hold of, because they did a renewal of this document. I tried to get hold of Brian, but,
Okay.
and I think this is the initial one, but I know that him and Alan made a final draft.
Okay.
So before you sign this, I know
Yeah,
they
I
have
didn't
them.
want to sign it, and then
No.
there's the dates aren't in here.
Right.
Of
And
when
that's all, when I looked at this, I'm going, this is not the right one. Because
Okay.
I know they have edited and had everything corrected on there. When I looked at this, I'm going, this is not the right one.
Well, and reading that, I mean, it allows Chubbuck,
Right.
it allows Ingham, allow all them to take their animals there because
Right.
they're not on Bannock County to pay for them.
Right. And I know
According to this.
they fixed all that.
I did.
And I was hoping
I don't know where
Brian
Brian
would be here
is this morning.
and bring that document.
I did have a citizen reach out to me yesterday in regards to this, and their question was, if it's, you guys are the only ones that are allowed to haul an animal in, would it be a better use of your resources if they were to call you and get an authorization, so you didn't have to dispatch an officer to go do something like
As long
that?
as we knew it was just that animal that they say on the phone, you know, that's kind of the catch-all.
I
but-
think we'd still want to be part of that. Regardless of resources, we still want to be part of that so that there's no misunderstanding of when you question that bill. We don't want our guys, we don't want it just a blanket, yes, you can do this, and then all of a sudden there's a bill and we don't have any record of it. We had one individual say it. We would still rather be part of it than if I have to come and explain why you got a bill, then I'm not sitting there going, I have no idea. I would much rather.
That was just
do
the
it
the
that way.
citizen's concern, is that you're dispatching a deputy to go pick up a dog when you might be
Well,
better used somewhere else.
The other part of that is we wanted to be able to, if they transported, we would respond and we could talk to them and say, the shelter, and say, yes, we approve this one and this dog that they're bringing in. We did want to do that, but because the way it was done previously, it just, anyone and everyone could just bring it in, and we didn't know anything about it. We still want to be part of it. So yes, to your question, yes, we would like to do that, but not just on the, I'm going to require my people to continue to either do a report on it and talk about it so that there's no misunderstanding later.
Yeah.
And generally, the way we usually have to deal with this is when we do an eviction and there's animals in the house that no one's there to take care of. That's usually the case, or when we make an arrest and there's an animal in the car. Usually that's usually the scenarios that we deal with. It's very rare that we get a citizen call. Generally, if it's a citizen, they can kind of take them in their own and pay for it themselves. I mean, there's some of that goes on, but we generally, like the captain says, we want to be a part of that. But like I said, most scenarios are when we're involved in other incidents and there's an animal involved that happens to be, well, we need to do something with this animal. So that's generally the case
Okay.
with this contract.
So then
Probably 9 times out of 10.
theoretically, if a citizen were to run into something out in the county, they call you, make arrangements, meet you or whatever in town, drop it off, that would be
Right.
appropriate and in line with what you want to do.
Yeah, I would think so, because then it would be easy. The problem that we run into is, one, we're not animal control.
Correct.
So we don't always know how to deal with a dog that's vicious or whatever. But if they have some kind of way to, and for them to wait, they might be halfway there before we even get to their house. So, yeah, just as long as we're part of that process, that way if you have questions, then we can answer those questions.
Right.
Perfect.
And the other, I guess the other thing I wanted to bring up, we recently had to deal with an animal and took him over to the animal shelter in Pocatello. They refused to take him. We actually had to deal with, made arrangements with Chubbuck Animal Shelter, and they were really accommodating. So, I don't know, maybe that's something we search in the future to have an agreement with them as well.
Well, we don't have an agreement right now. So
Right.
we can go to Chubbuck.
Right.
Talk to them.
So, they've been really accommodating when we've run into that bind. And I know they're building a brand-new animal shelter out there, so it'd be something we'd like to look into as far as maybe talking to Chubbuck as well.
Do
So,
Well, if we wasn't on the record, I could tell you how to take care of it.
Are we considering still waiving landfill fees for the animal shelters dropping animals off? No, that was in here, under number 10.
That'll be part of the discussion that we have, in my opinion.
Okay.
If they're dropping all their animals off, not just Bannock County animals
Right.
off, then there's a discussion that needs to be had.
Okay.
well, like I said, I know this has been in the works for a while. Commissioner Tubby brought it up early this year, and I know the final draft is done, and I thought it'd be here, but, so.
We'll get it, and then we'll look over them other
Sure.
things, and then maybe have a conversation with Joey too,
Okay.
and see, which one wants to play nice.
Okay. Well, we're good then. All right,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good to see you.
It looks like we'll be at recess.